For those who don't know, the Iditarod is that famous sled dog race held in Alaska that covers, it's well over 1,000 miles, isn't it? I thought it was 1,300 miles.
Whatever you say, sir.
Oh, now he's trying to make up.
Now, we've had the winner on, I think we had a girl by the name of Susan Butcher or something like that on, who's won it, I think, twice. And as you know, the sleds are usually pulled by huskies, right? My next guest did it with Poodles. I'm not making this up. We're going to show you some footage of this. We've got this from Chuchiak, Alaska. Okay, would you run this film? Those are Poodles, right? They're pretty good sized Poodles, too. But they don't look like sled dogs, do they? Mush, mush. Poodles, give me a break here. I should give the compliment. The film was sent to us by... All right. Actually, we'll want to compliment KTUU-TV in Anchorage, Alaska for that film clip. John Suter is here, and he is from Chuchiak, Alaska. Would you welcome John Suter? John? Welcome. Nice to see you, John.
Howdy.
Howdy. And this dog's name is?
Umyat.
Umyat.
Yes.
Hello, Umyat.
And we're from Chudiak, they call it.
Chudiak.
And it's up north there. It's not all the way to the pole, but you can see it from there.
Yeah.
And the race we ran, the Iditarod, is 1,153 miles. And we have a little map here. It's from Anchorage to Nome. And this year is a patch that they give to those people only who complete the race.
And you completed it, didn't you?
Yes, we did. And this is an award for those who complete the race.
Yeah.
And, of course, like you say, only Huskies have done this race.
Now, when somebody said, we got a guy on who ran this Iditarod with Poodles, I said, come on, this is some kind of I said nut.
Yes.
Well, I suppose that's something you probably heard when you first said, I'm going to run this with Poodles. I think the guy's crazy. Now, this is a larger poodle. It is a large poodle, but it certainly as hell doesn't look like a sled dog.
Absolutely right. Well, this is a summer cut, though.
Oh, I see.
And,
much bigger with a regular
well, they look like sheep, you see, when we let their hair grow real dense, and so they look like sheep. And when we pulled into a village there, an Athabascan boy came over to me and he said, mister, you can't run that in this race. Only dogs can run. You can't run sheep.
He thought it was a sheep?
Yeah. They haven't seen before Poodles. They've only seen Huskies.
Why did you decide to use Poodles?
Well, I wanted to give the breed its chance, and the most effective way was to run Poodles, which they said that they would never complete the race, not this century or in the next century.
Yeah.
So the most effective way to break the sissy name that's placed on the poodle is to do something like mushing as sled dogs. My father-in-law had
You want to give him a macho image, huh?
Yeah, give every underdog its day.
Yeah.
My father-in-law had a miniature poodle, and he went on a vacation and let me house sit this dog. And so I had a snowmobile, and I ran up and across the lake, and it's 3/4 mile long, and the dog would jump off, and it would run, and the little sucker would run like the Dickens, and its little legs would go 100 miles an hour. And I was totally shocked and amazed at the speed and the endurance that this dog had. And it could go and go and go. And I said, man, if you can get standards to do this, then you can get yourself quite a good team.
Right.
It ended up a little bit more work than
you have to train them? Aren't the Huskies specially trained, though, to pull sleds?
Absolutely. Huskies are born and bred to do this for centuries. And now they're getting into the super dog area. Right. But they have a little computer chip in their brain that says go. And so there isn't all that much training to do with a Husky. Yeah. But any dog, non-Arctic northern breed, a dog that's not a Husky-type dog, that dog must be educated and must be taught to run. And so...
How do you educate them to the cold? I mean, Huskies, I understand, but don't they freeze their little paws off? I mean, you know... Are they normally a cold-weather dog?
Well, they come from Europe, Germany, Eastern Europe, Hungary, and Russia, and those countries. So there is snow there, and they are in a mountain dog. And so this here is the 4th generation dog that has lived out its life all the time in
I see.
Alaska.
What was the reaction you got when you first told people you were going to use poodles? Now, be honest.
Well, I can tell you a story. This a Swiss musher came over from
That's
Europe.
what you call a musher, right?
Yes, mushers, dog driver musher.
Why do they say mush? You know, anybody ever find out?
French word.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, hike, get up, let's go. G for right, left for hop.
Okay.
And he couldn't believe that I was running poodles, and he had to come over and see, and he saw dog houses and dog truck, and he saw sleds and all these kinds of things. And he said, you know, young, back in the old country, we have one person in every village called Village Idiot. And I see in Alaska, it is no different.
Very good. Now do Jack Nicholson. I'm sorry.
In truth, though, that is the real way they really.
Now, how many dogs are you allowed? Is there a number of dogs set by the rules?
Yes. In the Iditarod, they have a limit of 20.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started out with 20 dogs. And we started out with this size dog because we were really concerned about endurance.
Right.
And the maximum endurance area for a dog is in the 35 to 45 pound area, so we selected 40 pounders.
Right.
And so we now see that they have the endurance, so we're going to step it up to 50, 55, where the other Huskies are.
Was this the lead dog?
Yes.
I see.
And this dog here finished Front Street in Nome there. And this dog has 2,700 miles on it this year, which is an extremely excessive amount.
You probably have to put him up on blocks for the summer. Maybe not. Now, what's the difference as far as the actual race using poodles versus, say, the Huskies?
There's quite a number of differences. Husky has wool, and their hair is more prone to shed off snow and ice.
Right.
And they have double coats of hair.
Right.
With poodles, sometimes, depending on snow conditions, the snow and ice will stick into their feet. We put booties on it, and that covers some of the area, and then they need to be, some of the problems, we need to feed more fish oil, we've discovered, and then we spray the stuff that you spray in pans.
Yeah.
That has an oil base on it.
Oh, I see.
And we spray this on their feet.
You spray them with Pam, you say?
That type of thing, yes.
Yeah. Oh.
So it repels snow and ice on the various types of conditions that, like wet snow, is real sticky. Coarse snow out on the coast, sandy, granular type, doesn't have any stick to it.
Now, are you on the sled most of the time, or do you run behind the sled?
No, no one can run that far in that much time.
Well, I didn't mean the whole distance. But I see them sometime running behind the sled, and then you jump on the sled.
Yes, well, I do as myself kick and help out as much as I can, so there's no, or the least amount of dead weight back there, you see. So, however, these dogs have to pull their share. And you get into ground blizzards, you get into 70 below, you get into...
70 below?
Yes. So this here temperature that we have now is 140 degrees warmer than what this dog did just a few months ago.
Okay. Now, you stop at night, obviously, or...
Well, not necessarily. Around 4 hours on, 4 hours off is a tradition, so we may be up at 3 in the morning, off we go again, like that type of thing. Not a necessary set schedule.
Do they eat ravenously when they have to work like this?
Yes, these dogs here eat about 3 times more than a regular dog would at its weight.
Right.
Because the cold would consume the energy and the pulling would consume the energy.
Now, how many people were entered this year in the Iditarod?
There were 52, and we finished 38th, and we're quite proud of this accomplishment.
For a that's great. That's great. You going to do it again next year?
We're working on that. We're gearing a team up for it.
Why don't you try it with Yorkies? Those little teeny dogs. You're going to get about 100 Yorkies. Very large. Just no.
Poodles I've never run before, and this year dog was ahead of all other dogs.
Now, do we have some... we don't have any actual film of the race itself? I guess you really couldn't film the race, could you? Because you're going all the time.
They did have cameras out there at various villages, and they took some footage.
So now, next year, you're going to try this whole thing again?
That is our plans, yes.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. I think
Thank you very much.
That's a marvelous accomplishment. What's the name again?
Umyat.
Umyat.
Yes, Umyat.
Yeah.
All from native village names. I thought, in word and deed, we would have these dogs perform as race dogs. And at our 7th year, we had severe problems. We knew we had to make some major changes. And so at our 8th year, we cracked the code. looking into the mind of the dog. You have to look and see how it thinks. And so we raise these dogs, dog psychologists, you see.
Yeah? So you try to figure out how the dog...
Right, and from the age of 2 months to 4 months of age, these dogs must be raised with huskies. They eat with them. We let them free run together, play, interact, and they get a social order, pecking order, and then they identify with huskies. And so huskies run and they imitate, and that's how these dogs go, because they identify to a family bond, and they imitate that. And so that was a major breakthrough for us.
Careful. He drinks out of Ed's cup. You won't have to give him anything when it's cold. Thanks for being with us, John.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. John Silver. Dog was filling up in a